Okay, now that we have our two effects done, the star build and the sphere build, and have them attached to our null, we can start creating the animation. At this point, I like to have two screens to work from, and you'll see why. We'll have one screen, which is this one, which will be our actual active screen, the screen that they set up in the camera properly. So let's go ahead and make an additional screen, new view, and let's drag this screen over to the right side here. And on this remember, this is the screen we're going to have our that's our active camera. So we'll have it locked, so we can't move out of it by accident. On the right here, we're going to change the view of this to a top view. I mean, on the left here, we're going to change the view of this to a top view. So we go down here where it's active camera, we say top, so that we can start seeing the trail as it progresses. So let's zoom out a little bit, and let's go to our null layer, click on it, hit the P key, and now we can see all the positions that are available to us. We've got our X, Y, and Z, of course. So let's go to the beginning of the animation. And we're going to first move this over to the left side, right outside here. And then let's move it here a little bit so you can see what's going on. And then we're going to move it in Z toward us, so it'll have the effect of flying in, or flying over the camera. So let's move it quite a ways back. Let's even go further back than this. Let's go way back. And the further back we go, the more it's going to disperse the particles and give them more of a flow effect. So this is one reason I wanted to go to top view. You can't really do that in the active camera view. So let's move it way back, move it over some. Can't see what's going on, but we're just getting our first position here. So let's get that locked in, our first keyframe. So that's good there. And then we'll hit the clock for position. Now it's locked. Let's go down to about 3 seconds or so, about 3 seconds. Let's move it over again to the right. Here. There we go. And go back into Z, and now let's bring it in as it's coming over the camera. Bring it back in. There it is. So there's our effect, flying in. Okay? And it's going to fly way back in the back here, past the camera. Let's move it over again, just a little bit. You can actually grab the little X arrow here to move it over too. There you go. And maybe I don't want it that high, so I can grab my Y arrow, push it down. Now that I can see it, it's about there. But let's go back to our first keyframe, and I want to bring it up to a little bit. So let's grab Y right here in the middle, push it up. You can see it going up. You can see it going up over here. You see the red line here is going up. And these are just roughing them in. Nothing's finished. So that's great. Let's go to the next keyframe. So there you go. Those are our first two keyframes. It flies in, hits its target. At this point, maybe a second later, we're going to have our next keyframe. So go about 4 seconds. Let's go over on our X again. Grab an X and let's drag it over. And actually, you can kind of start seeing the track being made up here. See that? So the X is going to come over. Y, we'll push it up a little bit. I could grab it here again. Y, whoops. Make sure you grab the arrow. Undo that. Let's grab our keyframe. Grab the Y. Wait till you see the Y, then you know you're ready to go. Okay, grab it. It's going to come up here. And then we're going to move it in X a little bit more over. See the X. Move it over. So you're starting to get an idea of what's going on. It flies in, hits its spot, bounces up, comes up to here, and then flies out. So let's say our next keyframe at about 6 seconds or so. And let's do the same thing. Let's move it over in X to begin with. And then in Z, because it's going to get right up on us. It's going to be right in our face, back all the way to the front of the canvas, or the frame. And let's move it back in X just a little bit so we can see it as it comes in. There it is. So we're going to have it fly right over us. Let's bring it down in Y a little bit so it flies right over us. Like so. Let's move it over next. This corner here. So you sort of get the idea here. It comes in. It's going to do this little tap there and then fly out. And the nice thing about being able to see it up here, when you start doing your adjustments, let's do one more thing. Let's select all of our keyframes and make those into Bezier, or ease in, ease out. Easy, sort of. Because what we want to do is be able to adjust one of these for the touchdown point. So let's go ahead and go back to the one we're going to create the touchdown on, which is this second keyframe here, right there. That's going to be our touchdown. And what we can do now with this view over here on our left side, we just do like a left view of it so we can see that a little bit better. Let's go to right. That makes more sense to right. Okay? So now if we play this, you can see how it travels down, hits that point that we're going to adjust in just a second here. So let's go to that keyframe. All right? Let's go a little bit closer so we can see what we're doing. I think it has the auto Bezier on. And one thing you can do to helps a little bit, if you want to break this Bezier up, so you can go into here, go into your keyframe interpreter, just say, not auto, let's just say Bezier. We want to be able to control it more. There it is. And what we want to do is just make this more of a point as opposed to a nice curve, because that's where it's going to tap down. You can kind of see what's happening right over here. Also, we want to turn this whole thing a little bit so that we can see it in front of the camera. So let's go back to the top view here. There it is. We want to turn it so that we can actually see those hits. So let's turn it this way a little bit, like so. And over here we can see our preview again, so we notice it's going to come in, hit that spot, and go out. Comes in, hits that spot, goes out. So that's what we're doing. And I'm going to step out of the way here, make a few more adjustments on this until I get it to where I like it and smooth out the curve, and it gives you an opportunity to do it yourself. A few things just to be aware of. Generally, I like, when I'm doing my curves like this, I like to create nice round curves. So I'll pull this out a little bit to round out this curve. Maybe pull this out a little bit so it's not so sharp. That sort of thing. Just to get it a little bit more cleaned up. Whoops, I want to move the whole thing like that. Okay, good luck, and I'll see you on the other side when we're putting the last few finishing effects in. Bye.